11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com. And welcome, everybody, to our weekly wrap-up of what happened this week, focused on Second Amendment. So I'm bringing up the screen here. We're screen sharing. Welcome, screen sharing, and let's see if we've got audio. So I'll bring it up. Looks like we got audio, and we're good to go. So, there's G23 already showing up. I was going to say, welcome to everybody who shows up and watches this live. Normally, we go live at a different time, but we've been, what are we calling this? We've been rear corked. We've been corked in the rear. So we had Clover corking us in the beginning of this show, time slotting us up, and then we got back corked, rear corked by Gizzard, moving all over the place, moving his schedule topsy-turvy. So weird time this week. So thanks to the people who follow the craziness. I imagine you either got the bell clicked on the channel or you're bored and you're paying attention to what's going on live. Santee is also live right now, by the way. All right, so let's dig in. We're looking at the screen here. Let's close out of, where's my mouse? Let's close out of Santee's thing over there. Close out of some of these windows from earlier today. Click on G23 again. Oh, and then Rich White is quirking me. Great. Nobody has any scruples on Christmas Eve. All right, so we got a poll out there on whether or not Santa is 2A. So far, yes, and he CCWs is winning. We'll see what happens with that as we keep going, if I remember to look at it again. What we look at is the description of this video. That's where, throughout the week, I leave links to the stuff that was good throughout the month, or throughout the week. Again, stuff that's focused on 2A. So let's dig in. I usually put them in kind of order of awesomeness, or the most 2A, let's say, rises to the top. You could debate it. It's not always this way, but typically not everything that happens in the week is 2A. Some things are just only gun related, and those things get pushed down towards the bottom. All right, so we start out the week last Sunday with Locked and Loaded Latinos doing their weekly show, and it was episode 71, talking about Spider-Man. I mentioned they also talked about some other things, griping about Florida not having constitutional carry and such. So, they are about the closest thing I watch on a regular basis that focuses on the news at all. But then they get into other topics and then focus on 2A. And again, this time, talking about Spider-Man a little bit because it just came out. Next up was Gun Freedom Radio. Had quite a few shows this week. Just listened to Rob. Why am I drawing a blank? Rob from Slow Facts. I can't think of his last name. But anyway, Rob, this morning was a pretty decent one. Learned some stuff there. But then this one with Mick McGuire. He is a major general. So Be My Little General. That's how you remember it. Be My Little General is brigadier general, major general, lieutenant general, and then general. So the real general, the big general with 4 stars, is just general. All the other stuff is 1, 2, or 3 stars. So this guy was a major general. So Be My Little, he's only 2nd level general, 2-star general. Major General Mick McGuire. So anyway, he was a major general of our Arizona Air Guard, I think, and now retired and now running for state senate. Excuse me, Arizona U.S. Senate. I'll read it, actually, what it says on the words here. Pretty cool dude, and not, well, at least according to his interview, not someone who had political aspirations, but is taking the baton. And if that's truly the situation, I've mentioned this in other shows. I think this is evidence, potentially evidence of the change in guard that we'll see, the change in people's taste in a representative. But we'll see. Anyway, it's an interesting video. I mean, I started listening to it, doing some other things around here, and it was an hour later in no time. Really neat. So definitely worth listening to. Then we get to suicide prevention Saturday. Brooke Cheney does her show every Saturday, focus on focus on suicide prevention. I guess, from not the angle of medical as much, and not the angle of, compassion towards someone who's got mental health issues, although I'm sure she is, but from the angle of, as a Second Amendment advocate, as someone who enjoys firearms and what they offer, as suicide prevention awareness as a tool or a strategy to help deter the antis from coming after our property and our rights, because they don't bother to actually pay attention to the mental health of the individuals that have to do with 2 out of every 3 deaths, 60%, 66%, 6 out of every 10, however you want to say it. A vast majority of deaths are suicides, and we can address that. We can solve the problem. We can save lives and never touch property. And honestly, there's ways you can put that don't sound as threatening, that make people who are anti realize that they're doing the least productive solution by suggesting that you take away someone who's having grief to the point where they're contemplating something like that, to suggest that at that point you add more stress and grief, and you require that people go in and remove by force something. That's just the worst possible scenario. It's the scenario for a problem. And if they aren't willing to address that, then what's their real motivation, right? So, I'm getting off into the weeds there, but suicide prevention, great tool. I'm going to keep mentioning it every week. Thanks to Brooke for putting a consistent focus on it. She also did a video just the other day, or maybe it was yesterday, with some ideas for stocking stuffers and last minute gifts. She has some merchandise that she has from the school that she used as examples, and then she had purchased some stuff from our store, and she used that as an example as well. So that was kind of a cool nod, unexpectedly, from another channel. Appreciated. See, then we get to riding shotgun with Charlie, who out of nowhere sent me a text today. Kind of cool. Anyway, we got him talking to Steve Gutowski. I don't know how to say that. So, author of the Reload blog/newsletter. So I subscribed to the free version of that after listening to it. Got my first episode, or my first copy of it, in the email today. Pretty interesting. And then now that I saw what came out in the episode, and I'm minding my business looking around on Instagram, it's interesting how many people hork articles from the Reload and use it on their Instagram feeds. Nobody's doing it and saying it's theirs, but it's interesting how many people are following the Reload, his podcast, or not podcast, his I guess it is a podcast, but his blog. Oh, I got the hiccups. And then reposting it. All right, so I ate a bunch of guacamole on tortillas before the show, and I got the hiccups now. So guess what? We're going to have an ad. I'm in the pocket of big Alan Aker. So we're going to go to Alan Acorn's show or shop and have a quick commercial.
We would like to say thank you to owlandanchor.com for great two-way items like these. Go to owlandanchor.com and place an order today.
All right, so drank a bunch of coffee. Maybe the hiccups are gone. Next up, it's worth listening to this episode. It's interesting, and I would definitely be interested in hearing more about the nuts and bolts of how Steven is running his situation over there, because it looks like it's done in a little different angle than a lot of the others, and it's definitely more, how do you say it in a nice way? His is definitely a very well-produced, good-looking blog, which stands out. How's that? That's super nice, wasn't it? It stands out amongst others. So we're going to leave it like that. So then we'll go to 2021 Retrospective, which is Foss. This dude. Oh, he's not out here today. He's probably enjoying Christmas or Christmas Eve with his family. And he did a retrospective. He goes live every other Saturday. Not like this dude. This dude goes live every single Saturday. Every other Saturday we get a little Foss, though. And this week it was the 2021 Retrospective. Pretty decent show. Let's see. After that, we got Santee, who I was just watching live. So Santee did a 24-hour marathon last Saturday. And what happened? There we go. Last Saturday. And I don't know if they took it down or if they gave her some problems or if it was having trouble feeding. Had to yawn there. But he's been posting, or she's been posting, she's been posting like pieces of it over the last couple of days. So definitely still using the marathon. It's just that she's posting it as separate videos now. Let's see. So that's an interesting 24-hour thing. You can't say it's all good. It's certainly interesting watching chunks of it for sure. And as a happening, as something to do, it's always cool to see people using YouTube in ways that aren't necessarily the perfect scenario, right? The perfect way to use it, or the way to use it to pull money from it, or to gain fame, or to create the numbers you're looking for, or to do whatever. She's just having fun playing with the system, and people are having fun with her. So that's the cool part too, is it's a participatory thing, and she's bringing all kinds of people to the table. It's really cool. Let's see. Next up would be 5 reasons Americans became more pro-gun in 2021. So this is Gun Owners of America in the times after they fired Crump. And that's the one guy who sits in the little studio room and says stuff. And I don't know. So if you want to watch this one and you want to have a conversation about it, I'd be down, because there's 5 reasons there why they believe, or he believes, the U.S. population has become more pro-gun. So that's what you get from Gun Owners America in the era after they fired Crump. Next, you get Prog 2A governors to pinch their states to manufacturers. So this was Jared, did a quick video. I'm pretty sure Jared is still cool with Gun Owners America. They're down with Jared. Jared never went against other organizations, so they've never had a problem with Jared. And he had this video about the 2A governors pitching to states at Chopo. I'm not sure if NSSF is involved in that, or if he's just repeating the NSSF article, because that'd be interesting. But the idea of states, entities, the states themselves, or maybe a division, or tourism, or wildlife, or game and fish, or whatever that would be called in the state, or whatever regulates the ranges, maybe, whoever's in charge of the public shooting ranges. They've always been at SHOT Show, and there's often been big events where a state, like, hey, Montana is sponsoring this or something like this. Yeah, Crump is no longer with Gun Owners of America. He was fired for a reason. I haven't really chatted with him about what I'm supposed to be saying. I'm probably saying too much, but Gun Owners of America is, in my opinion, there's Gun Owners of America before they fired Crump, and there's Gun Owners of America after they fired Crump. Those are 2 different organizations to me. So anyway, the idea that states are there is no big deal, especially states there to entice, parts of the industry or organizations or events or whatever it might be, to consider their state. And they're either going to, just say how great their state is, what resources they've got, represent the different facilities or whatever are there in the state, or whatever resources the state might have. But probably also to come up with deals and things. They've probably got money. I've had a subdivision. I've had a government entity work with me before, back in the old days when we still had website ads and stuff. Like, we've had government agencies advertise with us, so I know that they have budgets to advertise. So if they use SHOT Show as a way to get relationships and, you know, do that, I mean, that's part of SHOT Show. And like I said, it's been like that for the 17 years I've been going or something. So that part's not new. And that's why I'm curious if NSSF has shoved this over to Jared and said, hey, let's chat this up, or if he just seen it, because I think he's been going to SHOT maybe 2 or 3 years, you know, minus the one that never happened. I don't remember if his first year was the year that these guys all went to thing. Was that his first year or second year? So, you know, I'm not sure if he's just not familiar with that states do this kind of thing. But anyway, it's better than them not doing it, I guess. But I'm sure there's going to be people that have a problem with governors taking time to go to SHOT Show. And I think it was like 3 or 4 governors. It's been a while since I watched that video. G23 is out here. He had a chat with Aegis gun cleaning crew, or dude. Cool to get insight on the company and their mindset and their evolution of product. Thanks for doing that. Let's see. We get Combat Story was the second half. Why did I put part 1 in here? Dang it. I think I got the wrong link. But dude who fought ISIS in Syria from Sweden. Pretty interesting story. So a non-US fighter against ISIS in Syria and the situation there. So, you know, a lot of times we get these combat stories and stuff. It's somebody from some of the run of the branches here. And I think I've heard a couple of interviews with mic drop from people who are maybe reporters or other things, but they were embedded or they were in the war zone or whatever, but, you know, adjacent to the fighting, but not necessarily shooting anybody. This dude went down, they messed with his family. He left Sweden, went down, started kicking butt and working with anybody against ISIS. And with that, he's working with folks who don't have a lot of resources. So totally different type of fight, totally different kind of motivation and drive, totally different fight, war for that person who doesn't have, you know, air support and infrastructure to get them back home, and you know, reasons for being there are personal instead of moral or whatever it would be for standard soldier. And the insight he has is to both sides, others like him, and then the, I don't want to say equivalent, but the enemies, the ISIS fighters, are not people that are somehow wronged and get up and fight for their own country. These are people that are looking for free women and offered money somewhere where there's a bunch of extra dudes laying around. They just hire those dudes to go shoot and kill, and then they put them in some country that they never heard of before and say, here's a bunch of guns, go fight and kill, go do stuff to cause havoc so we can have a war. And when you're done, you'll have your virgins, or if you want, we'll steal somebody's daughter and give her to you. I mean, they're horrible. So that's the kind of stuff that's happening on the one side. And then you get all the people who's had their daughters or sisters and stuff stolen, and they're like, well, I guess it's time to go kill all these dudes, and they make their way on their own dime to these countries and have the war. So you hear about the wars and you hear about how the wars are manipulated and blah, 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 but you rarely hear about the folks that get up and get into it because they have to, because it's their family, you know, it's their sister, it's their mom. They're going to go kill people. Anyway, super interesting 2-part interview. Combat Story usually runs like an hour, 90 minutes. This was 90 minutes or something, 2 hours. It was one mic drop. It was like a real long interview. And again, just to hear about his couple of different, deployments. He went there, came home. One of his friends died. He's like, we're going back. So super interesting. Next up is our NFT. So did some research over the weekend on what NFTs were. I was sick of not knowing what an NFT was. So I did some research. We went live on Monday. I invited a bunch of people who are interested in NFTs, and they all tell me no, so they're not going to show up. So I guess that won't go very far because I'm not going to try to push it on anybody. But an NFT is basically PayPal. It's basically credit cards online. It's nothing. It's just another baby step further on making money, using money online. And it involves a different tech in the same way that a credit card is different technology than a check, you know, which was different technology than cash, which is different technology than poker chips. Cybercoins are the same thing, and NFTs are a thing you can buy with Cybercoin. So if you want to watch, it's not a great, highly produced thing. Like say, I'm not trying to push it on nobody, but offered it. So it's only about 3/4 decent. Let's see. Then we get our flashback to the 2021 as far as our community tab over on YouTube. So on YouTube, we use our community tab. I think it's one of the better parts of a YouTube channel. Yeah, YouTube lets you post videos, but we all know if you're watching this, well, you're not here now, but if you're watching this in the future, it's because you're one of the people that are in this group that watches, the same type of stuff with the same perspective and the same reason for the same reasons. And the community tab lets us keep in touch with that, lets us interact with that group of people, and that's how we use it. So we went back and I just did one of these where if you click your scroll wheel and click down, like move your mouse down, it's going to start scrolling down the page. And on this page, YouTube is desperate to have you watch videos. So it's just going to keep feeding you videos, suggestions over on the right there, no matter what. So I did the same thing on the community tab. I just told it to start scrolling and I kept letting it scroll. And it took about 20 minutes to scroll all the way to the bottom. At least a year backwards, and what we ended up with was this in reverse. Now you can probably still hear me, I think. So this is scrolling down that community tab for 1 year. I usually post once every 2 weeks about asking people a poll of what the organizations are doing, what their feelings are on the organizations, how well they're doing, which they like the best. We try to shout out other channels at least once a week. We shout out the comment period when it was happening. There's quite a few things that I'll put out weekly anyway, but then all the other posts where, FOSS going live, maybe G23 starting a live show or a special interview or something. So you can see this is quite a bit of posts. Just to watch it go backwards here is taken forever. If you get a seizure, it's your problem. I should have mentioned that at the beginning of that whole thing. But anyway, that was the community tab on our YouTube. All of that going backwards took like 20 minutes or something for the computer to literally go back all that time. So we sat there for 40 minutes going the other way. Clover jumped in and we went through and reminisced and tried to remember some of the stuff that happened throughout the year. It's been a pretty interesting year for 2A. It started out really stressful. Started out with a lot of... what's the word? Like no one was really certain what was happening. And we had a pretty decent turnout, I'd say, overall. I think we had a lot potential to do a lot more, but a lot of potential to do a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse. So we looked at that for like 4 hours or something. So if you're looking for something to do, you need to drive or something, suck the audio down from that thing. Probably a couple of times we looked at something on the screen, but probably most of the time we were just kind of blabbing. Let's see. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I got to scroll way down to here. And then finally, unfortunately, we got some sadder news or bad news, and that is the passing of El Chopo. We posted about it last week, but then Roll Call posted another kind of a slideshow tribute, and we figured we'd link to that as well. It's always sad to see when somebody's pup has to go. So, there's not many words for that, so we'll leave it with the slideshow there. There's nobody out here tonight, so we only got 7 votes on the poll. Let's see, of the 7 votes, 57% say yes, Santa is 2A and he CCWs. Oh, didn't mute for that one, sorry. And then what is that? Probably 4 votes and then 1 vote for each of the other answers. So basically we got 7 votes. We're going to, I still got a couple of minutes before Gizzard goes live, so I don't have to rush. I'm going to go look at the Instagrams. And when we're over at the Instagrams, let me go show you what we do. We look at other people's stuff if we want. There's somebody just looking at some coffee. There's riding shotgun with Charlie. People from the Carr family. This is Pets for Vets making a play on the I don't know which song that is, but it says he sees you when you're eating and he knows when you got snacks, and it's a little puppy, well, an old puppy with a Santa hat on. Anti-gunners, when any positive change in carry laws is proposed, they bring out the Wild West. I'm sure Clover will find a way to make that into a FUD thing. All right. So anyway, so once you look down through your Instagrams, right? I think these Instagram that we want to click on. Bunch of normal stuff and nothing that I want to click on necessarily. So here's the Los Angeles Police Museum. The Los Angeles Police Museum, which is normally pretty square, it's a police museum for crying out loud, and they are posting Christmas Eve 1988, Nakatomi Plaza, never forget. The police department is posting this. They got that dude and that dude. So I don't know why they got that dude. This dude was an LA cop, though. So there you go. Police museum put in Nakatomi Tower. So let's say that you want to say, hey, this was cool. Let's give them some extra like legs on the internet. Let's give them a little more reach. So you can click this little heart. And when you click that little heart, that's like telling them and the world, I like this thing. Because anybody can come up and look at these likes and see who all liked this thing before. It's one of the reasons it's a social platform, because it's meant to let people explore and surf around. So if you like something, maybe other people that like it are going to be similar to you. So that's why they offer this, so you could dig in here and go, oh, look, this person has an icon, or this person's name sounds like something I might be interested in, or that's the such and such museum that follows this museum I never knew. So now I'm following both, right? So there's that aspect of it. But let's say you want to do a little more. Like, that's good, but you want to do more. Well, you can comment. So I can't comment. Why? Because, oh no, I can, I guess. Because why can't I comment on this one? That's weird. It lets me comment on this one. But anyway, let's say you wanted to do more. You could comment. And let's find one where I can, let's find, here's Big Gunner. I will put in a thing that goes, Merry, if I can spell it right, Merry Christmas. Right? So spell it all right. And then now you've posted to him and everybody who wants to read it that, you know, you said Merry Christmas to him. So then you want to do even more than that. That's not enough. It's some, but it's not enough. So then you would click the paper airplane thing. And on a phone, that's going to jam it up into your circles. And that's how you automatically repost somebody into your circles. And that's supposed to be really good for their channel. Like, it makes Instagram happy about it. But if that's not enough, you got to do more. There's more I can do. I'm doing it. So then you click on this little weird chevron looking thingy over here. And when you do so, you're going to have the option of which folder you want to put it into. Most people don't have folders yet. When you first start using this, it's just going to go into your collections. But so you just click that. And then if you really wanted to, you could shove it into a specific folder. But that's the like levels of appreciation that you can offer through the system on Instagram. And I only explain that so that we can see this next step. That's what we're going to be looking at, is the ones that I went through and clicked on this little thing on. So we're going to see that one in there, and you'll see the others. Now, you don't have to do that on anybody's post. You don't have to do that ever if you don't want to, but I'm just showing you that when you do that, it's going to go into your saved, where those little shapes are. And then there's all those different folders. So if I shoved it all into a separate folder called the weekly wrap-up, then I could just go to the weekly wrap-up folder. Like you can see, I put all my ammo pictures in this ammo folder. So if I want to use a picture of ammo for something, I can find it a little easier. It's a little easier access because I've formatted it in that way. So with this case, we're going to go to the ones that have been posted most recently, and we're going to look at them, and then the show will be over because that'll be all there is. So I'm not sure which ones we looked at last, but let's go to Sportsman's. Posted this thing, and it looks horrible to me. Like, I can't even imagine. First, being in snow. Second, being in cold weather where you have to wear all that stuff. Third, having to be in the slushy cold weather. That's the worst kind of cold weather. So this is them fishing through this hole for fish. And those fish are just down there minding their business, trying to be alive. and this little dinky fishing pole is going to catch them. But I'm sure people enjoy doing it. Everybody does it, and everybody out there does it. And Sportsman's is cool, so we did that. We clicked on both their heart thingy and the little save thingy. And now we're going to go on to the next post. The term, this is from the American Suppressor Association, and this is a post that they posted 2 days ago. The term silencer comes from the original patent. We chose to use suppressor because it's a more accurate description. Regardless, they refer to the same item. So no idea why they decided to do that, but there you go. And then we get this thing, which I'm going to go ahead and play. And this is from Taylor Defense Training Group. This dude's a beret, right? And now does training and stuff. And we're going to listen to this post.
No government in the history of mankind has ever relinquished power voluntarily. The power that they have taken away from us over the past 20 months, they will never give back. They have taken away our freedom of speech. They have closed the churches. They have taken away jury trials against companies, no matter how negligent they are, no matter how reckless they are, no matter how grievous your injury. You cannot sue that company. They have taken away our property rights in the United States. They closed 1 million businesses for a year with no just compensation and no due process. They have taken away our right to be free of warrantless searches and seizures and surveillance by the government. This is a global coup d'etat against liberal democracy across the planet. And all of these rights that were taken away from us, these governments said it was temporary, it was only 2 weeks, it would be over. In truth, you can all see what's happening. They are taking those rights and they will never give them back unless we make them.
So that's crazy, right? But that's Italy, November 13th this year. Italy, November 13th of this year. Looks like a freaking sci-fi movie or something. This one gun shop up in Phoenix, AZ Shooters World. I guess now they have a couple of different locations. It's been a while since I've been up there to look around. Did this play on the Jared commercial, except now she's crying because she got a diamond ring that nobody wants. And this chick's happy because dude got her some kind of gun or something. This is freaking hilarious. So there's a little bit of music. It'll just get me copyrighted. We're going to go back and rewind this. How do I rewind it? It's awesome. Watch this wind up. Bam! We're going to watch this again so you can get that wind up, but it's awesome. And then he just lets them have it. Santa goes down. Then Santa's like, I don't care. And then he's like, well, bam. Then right in the kidney. And then like, I didn't do nothing. I'm out of here. I'm leaving. So wind up, wind up, wind up. Bam. Right in the face. I don't know where this came from. It's on Ed Manifesto's channel. It's hilarious. That kid's like as tall as that railing, but he's got the ability to stand up. So it's either a little short, older kid or a really agile little kid. I don't know. Hilarious, though. And that Santa deserves it. You can tell the way he's looking at him. And then here's the thing. I don't need this in my life forever, so I'm going to uncheck that one. And now it won't be in my list anymore. It was just for us, just for this chat, just so we could look at it. Let's see. I think that was it. So we're going to try to go back to my channel. You click on this, and then, no, I don't know how to get there. You click on this, and then click on this. Instagram isn't all that great. It's really stupid, cumbersome. And as soon as you figure out how to get to places, they'll switch it around. And Oh yeah, because I just took off that other one. I'm going to take off this one too, because as fun as it is watching the Los Angeles Police Museum, they're kind of a-holes and they never gave me nothing. So I think I'll leave that hearted, but I'm not going to leave it favorited. Why? Mainly because I don't want somebody scrolling through my favorite list and, seeing stuff from channels that ain't doing much to support nobody, or I don't really necessarily want in my list. So how do I get back to... Oh, I am looking at all of them. So yeah, you can go back and see some of the stuff that we've linked on in past weeks in this About one, or I don't know why you'd want to, but you could go back and look at some of the other folders. I think you can see the other folders I have in the saved. Maybe you can't. I really don't know. So anyway, that was a look back at the Instagram, and it didn't take anywhere near as long as I thought. So even with farting around telling you how Instagram works first for a bit there. The robots voting in the polls? Nah. I didn't get any robots on this show, did I? Unless the moderators are just shooting them down right away. Are you gonna give me the thing, or are you gonna quit messing with me? So all we got was 9 votes, and looks like 2 more for Santa does or is 2A, and he does CCW. So we'll end that poll. Maybe bit Santa is A. What does that mean? Let's see. Well, with that, I don't think we need to keep going too much more. That was the week. It was sort of a slow week because of Christmas, right? Everybody says, oh, I'm not going to bother being 2A on Christmas time or whatever, except for a few folks. Let's see. Anything else? Merry Christmas to everybody. If that's your thing. If you don't like Christmas, then you don't have to. I almost had the worst freaking year ever. And then luckily at the last minute, for lots of reasons that I don't want to say about, it's not as bad as it could have been. Still a pretty shitty year overall, but holy crap, could it have been way worse? So keep that in mind, that sometimes things are awesome, but sometimes things are super shitty, really, 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 really shitty and out of your control. And there's just not much you can do about it, and it looks inevitably shitty, but guess what? There's good days, there's bad days, and there's ups and downs and all that, pendulum swings, merry-go-rounds and all that. So take a deep breath, do something cool, rub a puppy, have something to eat. I think somebody earlier said something about, who the hell was it? Was it Clover? Or was it somebody else doing a show earlier? Said to just have, Yankee doing his weird toy gun thing. He's wrong about his toy gun thing. We'll do a toy gun thing that's right later on. But he said something about, do whatever, and you don't have to do the traditional Christmas. But here's the thing. I don't ever do the traditional Christmas. I ain't into Christmas that much. I understand it. I appreciate it. If I had kids around, I'd understand it completely. But I don't, so I'm not really into it. But the thing is, it can get annoying when everything else is shut down. Everything else is focused on something. So I keep saying Merry Christmas because there's a lot of folks that like Christmas. But if you ain't into that whole thing, I get it 100%. There's plenty of opportunities and plenty of alternative things you can do out there without even being like anti-Christmas. You can just do other things that aren't focused on Christmas. So have fun doing that if you want to do that. And most everybody gets right back to business, if not tomorrow, Sunday. So won't be down for too long. We won't be down at all. So we'll be back probably to watch Gizzard do his thing here in a minute. I might do some 3D printing this weekend or do a patch chat that is long overdue. So maybe if you're a Patreon or a channel member, give us some feedback of what you might want to be part of, because I don't really like this kind of boring sitting here talking to my wall with the computer going in front of me. Much rather have other people here chatting with. So, but if somebody wants to do something this weekend, chat-wise, let me know. We got some time to kill because there's only so much other stuff that can be done because everybody's doing Christmas this weekend. Let's see. SS Pawns out there saying Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you and yours in Nebraska. Let's see. Merry Christmas. Hope to see you all tomorrow evening on my stream. This is G23. The wife and I don't do gifts. Yeah, somebody else was saying they don't do them either. I guess I can get it, but at the same time, you still take a pause, and most everybody has to take a break. There's only a couple of restaurants open. Most of the stores closed, so for the most part, everybody's taking a time off, a little bit of a break. In Tucson, it was super weird. The weather is super warm this year because, of course, global warming and because of fossil fuel wastage, right? We have super global warming and it's super warm out. So because of that, It's never not going to be a white Christmas or nothing. And I don't know if it's that reason or some other reason, but there is a billion cars out there, like a lot of cars out on the road right now, at least right before the show started 40 minutes ago. Ton of cars out there. And I would have thought it would have been, wasteland, like barren, with everybody being at home doing their thing. So evidently lots of Christmas parties, evidently lots of last minute getting stuff, probably sprinkles and a lot of frosting and sprinkles and butter and, stuff that you run out of or forget, or so-and-so can't eat something, so go get a jar of this and that so that we can make something that they can eat kind of thing. Or, what else happens a lot is, dogs flipped over this. Although half the time it's somebody else who does it and blames it on the dog, but you know what I'm saying? Like something spills, something gets ruined, something gets burnt, go to the store and get another one real quick. I'll bet you that happens quite a bit. And then the last alternative, because there's only these alternatives, would be people that are like unnecessary trips to the store in order to leave the chaos. Like, the two grandmas that hate each other are there, or the two aunts that hate each other are there, or the two sisters that hate each other are there. You can tell that dudes don't really care. They'll just walk to their side of the house. But the two sisters that hate each other, everyone's going to know about that. So in those kind of circumstances, I'll bet you a lot of stuff gets forgotten and people have to go to the store to get it. And those are the people just hanging out, reading the magazines, not being at home with the drama. I bet you that happens a lot at the stores too. So thanks to the people at the stores who are making it possible for people to ditch out or go grab a replacement thing. And to the folks who are making the infrastructure work that nobody pays attention to because we're all entitled to electricity and water and cable and heat and everything else that we're entitled to. And that all just happens magically. Every morning, everything's folded, cleaned, washed, and combed. So thanks to all those people who clean, wash, comb, and fold everything all night. All right, with that, we're done. Let's see. Since it's Gizzard next, why don't we close this thing out with a Gizzard ending. Thank you for support. Even though he's supposed to be before this show, he's back quirking me. He's after quirking me. Thank you for supporting our... I could have run this show for another 16 or 17 minutes. Except that he's got to run his show in 15 minutes because it's Christmas Eve and he's got to do his show on his schedule. Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of... But go ahead. Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope you watch the Foul Territory Christmas edition after this. And yeah, I'm pretty sure we've been allowed by Dear Leader to have Christmas tomorrow. So you're welcome. You can have Christmas. Thanks, Dear Leader. Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching GunWebsites.com.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.